So, if you remember last week's show, I was very excited about the new formulas that I had put together to calculate my running back props. I felt that we had an issue and thought that we had found a fix. That was not the case. So, how do we bounce back from a losing week? Find out now on another episode of Bets and Breakfast presented by the Fat Jack Sports Service. So a couple weeks ago, I kind of had a feeling that the running back numbers weren't all that great. All it took was a couple losing weeks for me to realize they were not great. Did some formulations, weighted some stats differently than previously, and thought that the projections had been fixed, only to have game plans completely wreck the selections. With that being said, gonna stay away from some running back numbers just for a while, just because I don't feel comfortable with giving them out, especially since I'm playing these picks myself and I'm tired of losing money on running back. So we're going to stick with what we know. We're going to stick with kickers. We're going to stick with wide receivers. We're going to stick with tight end catches and yards projections because those, at least through the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, have been what has been the most profitable. Those have been what's winning. So we're going to hey, ride with what we got. So as I said last week, not all that good. Went 1-2. We got a winner with Younghoe Koo on his 1.5 field goals over, and then we got a push, or really a canceled bet with Pharaoh Brown being scratched from the matchup against the Chargers. Thought that was an opportunity for us to probably make some money, but the Texans thought otherwise. The two running back props with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and with Travis Etienne might be a combination, like I said, of game planning. It might also be a combination of bad math, bad numbers. Those two guys, if they were sort of the feature back and got the majority of the carries and majority of the touches out of the backfield, I feel like those projections probably go over the totals, but they didn't. So as you can see, 1-2 on the week, still winning on the season. Through 4 weeks, we've turned a nice little profit for playing $10 per pick. You're up close to $30, but hey, it's still a long ways to go. And if you're betting more, then hey, you're up even more. But I'm small fish, we'll say. I'm not even a minnow. What do minnows eat? I'm gonna have to Google that so I can figure that out. So yeah, I don't bet a lot on these selections, nor should you. But if you do want to make money betting against the spread and betting in football and basketball season, which starts next week, you need to be doing it with the Fat Jack. FatJackSports.com. Call 1-800-298-1383. Find the packages right for you. Go to the website. As I said, basketball starts this week. The NBA gets kicked off really soon, and then college basketball not too far behind. So plenty of picks to come in the weeks and months ahead of us, all leading up to the Super Bowl, and then, of course, the NCAA championships, the March Madness, and the NBA finals, which are in June. You can get everything, college football, NFL, college basketball, the NBA, through the Super Bowl for like $2,600. It's stupid simple, stupid cheap, especially considering how much you're going to win playing the games. So, FatJackSports.com, get signed up and get ready to win. All right, so what are we going to do this week? Well, like I said, we're staying away from running backs. That much we know. I still have like a top 10 list of selections that I consider. A couple of them were running back selections, but because how the numbers have gone through over the last few weeks, I wasn't very confident in giving them out this week. So like I said, we're going to stick with kickers and receivers and tight ends. And the first one out of the chute today, back from jolly old England, it's Greg Joseph. Over 1.5 made field goals. Kicked 5 in the win last week against the Saints in London. This after going over 2 the week before. The Bears are the top 10 in the red zone defensively, which you wouldn't think would be something that the Bears would be the top 10 in, because their offense sure isn't getting anything done. I looked at the combined punts over 6.5 as an option here as well. Both these teams are in the bottom 6 in third down conversions. So if you're looking to play maybe a little bit extra, that was sort of like the next pick, like the 4th pick for me to potentially, be the 5th pick to potentially release this week. But Greg Joseph over 1.5 made field goals should be an easy win here on Sunday on Bets and Breakfast. On to my second pick now with the Eagles and the Cardinals. I actually have 2 picks from this game. The Cardinals have been getting gutted by tight ends. They are giving up the second most catches and the second most yards to tight ends this year. And with Philly's offense rolling the way it's been, hard to shy away from Dallas Goedert in this situation. I don't necessarily like the yardage over, but I do like the catches over with much more enthusiasm than I do the yardage total. So Dallas Goedert over 3.5 catches, second pick of the day. And as I mentioned, I've got 2 from this game. How about Rondell Moore? The Cardinals released Andy Isabella. They still have yet to get DeAndre Hopkins back. And Rondell Moore finally healthy after missing the last 3 weeks, hoping to maybe make a spark for this offense. I don't necessarily see it. Even when Rondell Moore has been healthy, he's never had like a huge consistent performance for this offense. And while I'm a big fan of his, even dating back to his days in college and in high school, which was like a mile that way, I think he's a spectacular athlete, but for whatever reason, he just has not been able to get on track in the desert. And in his first game back from injury, they may throw the ball to him a couple times early just to try and get him into the groove offensively. But I just don't see how the Eagles are going to allow him large yardage. So Rondell Moore under 35.5, my third pick today on Bets and Breakfast. Now, for the fourth pick, and I kind of went back and forth on which Dallas Cowboys receiver to go with in this situation, because Noah Brown has been an absolute star for the Dallas Cowboys of late. Tony Pollard has been an absolute star for the Dallas Cowboys. The problem being is they got 2 dudes ahead of them. You got CeeDee Lamb, and then you got Ezekiel Elliott. And the coaches really like those 2 guys. The general manager and Jerry Jones have paid those guys. They're going to get the bulk of the receptions, the bulk of the carries. And unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to go. So if you can find Noah Brown over, say, 43.5 receiving yards, because that's my projection for him. Some of the projections have been really slow to come out this week. But if you can find Noah Brown in the mid to upper 40s, take it over. I think he's going to have, again, a monster day. Obviously, we know with Cooper Rush in the lineup that he and Noah have had a really nice connection thus far. And that offense seems to click when he was getting the ball. Now that Dak's potentially coming back, maybe a little less on Noah Brown. But CeeDee Lamb over 5.5 catches. He's caught over 6 balls each of his last 3 games. And the Rams have given up the most catches to wide receivers this season and are 31st in number of yards allowed to wide receivers. So potentially big numbers today for CeeDee Lamb over 5.5 catches. There you have it. Greg Joseph over 1.5 made field goals. Dallas Goedert over 3.5 catches. Rondell Moore under 35.5 receiving yards, and CeeDee Lamb over 5.5 catches. Again, I'm playing $10 per pick on these, and then also going to put them together into a 4-team entry on Prize Picks. See if we can't turn $10 into 100 yet again, as we did in week 1 of the NFL season, and see what we can do. If you want to get in on Prize Picks, you absolutely can. Go to prizepicks.com, download the app from your app store. Use promo code FATJACK when you sign up. You can get a free $100 just for signing up and using our promo code FATJACK. Again, a 100% deposit bonus up to $100 when you sign up and use promo code FATJACK. We'll be back next week as we inch closer towards Halloween. We'll recap how week 5 of the NFL was and get you set for week 6 of the NFL season. Don't forget to sign up with the Fat Jack, fatjacksports.com. Follow us on all the socials at Fat Jack Sports. And if you want even more analysis on Monday and Thursday night's NFL action, you can follow me at Brandon Rush on Twitter. Small disclaimer, I'm on there a lot. It's not just football stuff. Some of the stuff will probably piss you off, but take some wins and losses. So that'll wrap up this week's edition of Bets and Breakfast. I'm going to go downstairs and have some waffles because Team Waffle. Enjoy your Sunday.